Hi, folks. I know we already talked about this in class today, but I did want to give you just a really short screencast in case you're like me and you forget things or you want to hear things one more time. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to overview the poetry assessment that we are handling in the next few days. And my goal here is to just see how well you are identifying and analyzing poetic devices and the way that poets use them to communicate deeper meanings. So we've been doing this for the last couple of weeks, and I think I'm just looking to see how you're synthesizing all of the information from the different poems that we've read. So I've given you a little playlist of different things that will help me assess how well you're manipulating all of this knowledge with poetry. So you'll see a few different tasks to complete and places to note and include hyperlinks for your assessment. And always ask me if you have any questions, but let me overview this for you. So your first task in this assessment is to read a poem and to annotate it and make notes on it to help me see evidence of your thinking as you read the poem. And so you'll see that the poem is hyperlinked here. It's Dirty Face by Shel Silverstein, who again is awesome. And I'm looking for your annotations to address the bullet points below. These are not the only things that they can analyze, but they are some of the guiding questions that I'm looking at as you are reading this poem. And so note, folks, that as you're annotating this, I am going to be looking for your thoughts on this initial guiding question about how the child in the poem explains his or her dirty face. I am looking for you to identify specific devices that you're seeing in this poem. And I'm looking for you to connect those lines in the poetry to an idea that's formulating for you with regard to what Silverstein is communicating about childhood and that transition into adulthood. So after you've read and noodled out this poem a little bit, you're actually going to stop for a minute and check in with me. You're going to shoot me a little email, 2 to 3 sentences, just saying, hey, this is what I was thinking about the poem. And that gives me a chance to just see if you're moving in a direction that's going to give you a lot of room to expand and develop the next part of your assessment, which is writing, but not in the way that you have been for me recently. You've been doing a lot of critical writing for me recently. Now I want to see you use this language and start to apply it to poetry. So I'm going to ask you to write your own version of Dirty Face. And I've got your components listed below. I'm not asking you to write a really long poem. If you're so moved to, you know that I'll read whatever you give me, but we're looking for about 12 lines. The first 2 will actually be the same 2 lines from the beginning of the Silverstein poem, which you'll see shortly. I'm looking for you to include an example of each of the following literary devices underneath that. Those are not the only devices that you can include, but those are the devices that I'm looking for, especially since the rhyme scheme and some of the figurative language is what we have looked at with the poems that we've studied. After you've written that poem, folks, please remember that like your annotated poem, you are going to hyperlink your version of Dirty Face to this playlist. And then the last thing you're going to do is access the Flipgrid for your period. So if you're in period 2, you'll access this Flipgrid. If you're in period 4, you'll access this one. And you'll record yourself on the Flipgrid, reciting your poem. So it is a little bit more authentic an assessment than my giving you a multiple choice test. There's plenty of time and practice for that. But I also wanted you to show what you know in a different way. Not all of us are great test takers. Some of us are stronger performers or writers or artists, and I hope that this gives you another way to show me what you're understanding about poetry, and I cannot wait to see what you come up with. So, folks, having said that, I'm going to toggle over to Dirty Face and read it for you because poetry not only meant to be read, it should be heard too. So, here is Dirty Face by Shel Silverstein. Where did you get such a dirty face, my darling dirty-faced child? I got it from crawling along in the dirt and biting 2 buttons off Jeremy's shirt. I got it from chewing the roots of a rose and digging for clams in the yard with my nose. I got it from peeking into a dark cave and painting myself like a Navajo brave. I got it from playing with coal in the bin and signing my name in cement with my chin. I got it from rolling around on the rug and giving the horrible dog a big hug. I got it from finding a lost silver mine and eating sweet blackberries right off the vine. I got it from ice cream and wrestling and tears and from having more fun than you've had in years. I hope you enjoyed that poem, and I cannot wait to see what you do with it, folks. Have a great day.